Hi, thanks for tuning in today to Front Porch Conversations here at Advent Christian Village. Today we're at the Harmony Center and it's a warm summer day. I want to introduce you to our guest today, Donna, Robb. Donna, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation.
Happy to.
And for people throughout the village and others to get to know you. That'll be a great treat for them. But you're pretty well known here at the village. Tell us when you came to the village and a little bit about.
Okay. I came to the village in November of 2 years ago, and I have loved every minute of it.
And you live in?
Okay, I live in the Lawrence house, upstairs, and 8 other residents live there, and we're one happy family.
Great. And it's one of our smaller apartment buildings here at the village.
Yes, that's true.
But, and it's one of the newer ones as well.
Yes, it is.
And you're on the second floor?
I'm on the second floor. It's very spacious, 2-bedroom, wonderful kitchen, a large living room. And I just feel at home there.
Great. And I don't know what the technical name is, but you have a nice gathering space for neighbors downstairs.
Yes, we do, and we have birthday parties and things like that. There's a huge area downstairs, and we all gather together, and we just have a good time fellowshipping.
Great. How did you learn about the village?
It's the Lord brought me here. I learned about it because I went to Hardee's for breakfast.
I don't think anybody else has ever said that before.
And a tourist came in and was ordering the food and was waiting for it because she was going to take it with her. She was on her way to Michigan, and she kept looking over at me, and I wondered, oh my goodness, is my hair okay, or what's But anyway, she came over to me and started talking with me. And so I found out that she was visiting in Florida, and I asked her where, and she said, oh, at the Advent Christian Village. And I said, wow, what is that? And we had never heard of it, even though I lived in Tifton, Georgia. And she said, yes, my sister lives there, and she just loves it there. And she says there's all kinds of activities there. And I said, oh, and as she continued to talk, I just felt I got excited about it. And so finally I said to her, well, I might move there. So then I went home, and for 2 years, I followed it on the internet, and I thought, now this is just too good to be true. And so, but as I followed, I more and more, I just felt, hey, that might be a place for me. I will tell you first of all, at the time, I had lost 2 sisters and a brother, a dear twin brother. I was having a hard time. And I just couldn't shake it. I could not shake the grief. And I felt, for the first time in my life, it was the hardest time in my life, I felt abandoned. I felt unloved. And so, you know, but I kept praying, you know, says, Lord, you know, please help me please help me to find a place where I can really feel I belong. And as I was praying one day, I said, Lord, if you really want me to go to the village, I had never seen the village. If you really want me to go to the village, I will just please send someone that will buy my home. And so that Saturday, it was about 2 days later, I got the urge. I says, put a sign up. Go to Walmart, get a sign, put it up, and say for sale by owner, which I did. It was on a Saturday. And so then I went out into the yard. I had a yard, and I love flowers. And I was working with the flowers. The gate happened to be open. And around the corner into the gate, a man popped his head in and said, now when you get ready to sell your home, I want to buy it. And I was stunned. Still didn't really believe, you know, I guess. So in a way, and then he just left. And so about a week later, I said, no, Lord, if you really want me to go to the Advent Christian Village, you sent that man back to buy my home. And that was on a Saturday. On Monday, there was a knock on the door. It was that man. And he said, I want to buy your home. I saw your sign. And he says, I want first dibs on it. And so I told him what I wanted for it. He says, I'll pay you cash.
Now, had you been to the village to visit yet?
No. But I actually knew at that point it was the Lord leading me to the village. I had no doubts about it. It was one of the greatest faith experiences in my whole entire life. I knew it could only be the Lord. And so he said, could you be out in 3 weeks? And so I rushed around and I thought, well, I started packing and everything, and I thought, well, I haven't been to the village yet. I might be homeless. And so I went, and so I drove down. We drove down to the village. I had another friend with me, and Karen showed me two homes, and one of the homes was the Lawrence house, and I immediately fell in love with it. I fell in love with the people. Laura Putman lives there. I fell in love with her. She's a missionary, and I've always wanted to be around a missionary. And so I came to the village. In 3 weeks, I was at the village in my home. Wonderful. And guess what?
What?
That's when life changed. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the village is a place where seniors come alive. And I still love every minute of it.
And you're spending every minute doing something, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I want to share with us some of the things you're involved in.
Okay. And one of the things I do is I have a car. And there are people in the village that need transportation to Gainesville, to Lake City, to Live Oak. And so I'm available to them. And some of these people, too, that live in the village, because they do not have the money to pay. And so I just go ahead and what a ministry to transport them. And I can tell you I'm more blessed than they are. And I also am involved in the Pen Pal program for the Boys Ranch, which is not too far from here, and I'm loving that ministry. I do sometimes, in April I was a greeter at the church, And I'm involved in the church. I'm involved in wonderful Bible studies. And I have grown so much through the Bible study. It was Paul Cochran's class that I was in, that he took us from birth to age 83, which I am at this point. And when we left that class, I was amazed. The Holy Spirit revealed to me throughout my whole life, it was not I, but it was Christ that lived in me. And not only that every little thing, God, in every stage in life, God prepared me and led me to the place that I'm at right now. It was sort of humbling, because I always thought I made the plans. And I found that it's not me, but it is God that makes the plans.
But you were listening to him a lot of the time, right?
I was, yes. I want to tell you something about one of the best experience in my whole. What has brought me to this point is that when I grew up in a home that did not have a Bible, my parents did not go to church, so when we would celebrate, and I remember, I think back, we celebrated Easter, we celebrated Christmas, but I never knew why until I was 8 years old, and went to a country school where there was 15 of us in the class, and I didn't even realize this until later, what an impact that made on my life, because a missionary, and I didn't even know it was a missionary until later, came to every Friday and taught a Bible lesson and used the flannel board, and just projected God's love and what he'd done for us. And it was because of that missionary and that country school that I accepted the Lord and became a child of God. And that has been enough through all my life.
And that was at 8 years old.
At 8 years old, I did not. After that, we did not have any teaching. I didn't have any teaching because she moved on to Nova Scotia. Miss Damon was her name, Helen Damon, and she moved on to Nova Scotia, and for until I was in 8th grade, they closed the country. But I kept thinking, I'm a child of God, no matter what, And but anyway, when they moved on, she moved on, and they closed the country school, and in comes a preacher from the American Sunday School Mission Union. The school was closed, but guess what took its place? A church. Mm-hmm. And because that's a land, and this to me, that church is a landmark. And because there was no adults attending that school, if we were teenagers, we became the adults. Mm-hmm. And I taught a Sunday school class.
And where was this? Where did you?
This was in Wyoming County, in a rural area, very rural area, isolated area really, in Perry, New York.
And that's upstate New York.
Upstate New York, yes, between Buffalo and Rochester, actually. Mm-hmm. And so I learned so much from that, from just teaching, and I can't tell you how much. And at that point I said there was two things I was going to do. I will be a teacher. Mm-hmm. I love teaching. And the Lord is both preparing me for that. And I will always be a child of God. And that really carried me through many, many ups and downs of life.
So how did you get from upstate New York to Tifton, Georgia?
I came on a scholarship to my scholarship was at the Memphis State University. They were doing a study across the nation, and we had to apply for it. And why I can tell you, the only reason I was chosen because of the Lord, because of all the people in New York State, to choose me. And they were doing a study, which I really don't understand. I know I took a lot of tests. I know I did a lot of things. They interviewed me many times. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the research program was about. But anyway, I got the scholarship, and while I was there too, I came in contact with my professor, Dr. Woolner, and Rostel Woolner, a Jewish person, I will never forget, that had a tremendous impact on my life. In fact, I was placed with a Jewish family. So, they supplied me with the clothes, the transportation, because I didn't have any means to pay my way through college. And she also did something so wonderful to me that affected my whole career, is she put me in what's called the demonstration preschool, with a one-way window. Yes. and you had to make sure your feelings weren't hurt, because she was wonderful though. But she would stand at that window, and she put me in as a teacher of the kindergarten kids. And I would be teaching them, and immediately, right after it, I hear that knock, and I knew you need to come out. And she would tell me what I did right, what I did wrong. Taught me how to teach. When I came out of school, I knew how to teach. And I always remember what she said to me. She said, Donna, you are so creative. Don't let anybody force a curriculum on you. And so I ended up teaching gifted.
And that gave you an opportunity to use lots of it.
I developed my own program, and loved every minute of it. I got many awards, but that wasn't the most rewarding thing with the kids. I loved every minute of teaching.
And I believe you still stay in touch with some of those students?
Oh, yes, I do. And they stay in touch with me. And I get letters and cards, and also telephone calls. And I got one just recently, just thanking me, and telling me what they were doing and what they remember about the class. And hey, that's rewarding. I said I could have taught school without even a penny if I could have afforded it. It was that rewarding to me. So. And
how many years did you teach?
38.
I think you're still teaching, right?
Yes, I still feel like a teacher. Yes, I do.
What would be one of the most interesting experiences you had with a student?
With the students? Wow, that's a tough question, because I had many. I think the most interesting thing and what I learned from them, because if I was teaching something, questions would just pop up, and I thought, wow, I prepared this lesson. I never thought of that. It was the interaction. I think the most interesting part, I will tell you, will be the interaction with the students, and my very rewarding.
I noticed you have on a hat with butterflies, and butterflies always attract my attention.
Yeah.
Do you have a special interest in butterflies, or they were around your garden?
I have a very special interest. They were around my garden because I planted flowers that they would be attracted to, because the butterfly represents change. And I do feel, if I were to, that is so important. All your life, you're changing. Mm-hmm. And you got to be open to that change. And the butterfly just represents that to me, the change in my life, and I'm not the same today. By talking to you, I'm not the same today as I was a few minutes ago. Life is just constantly changing, and I just can't wait to get to heaven. I know there'll be tremendous changes.
Well, I'm glad you're still fluttering around here.
Thank you.
And I know that within your transportation of others, you've made a lot of friends and
I have
become special in a lot of people's
Yes,
lives.
I have. Yes, I have. That's one thing that I'm so. I love people, and I don't care. And I will tell you this. I have empathy, real empathy for people that are struggling, and it is wonderful. The Lord is so good, and I pray every day when I meet with one or two of these people that really need counseling or information or just plain love, and I see the transformation. And now that's people I help. That's people that and I don't see myself as anything. I am not. The Lord has been good to me, and I just want to pass it on, to others. But and then I have fellowship. I have so much fellowship and fun with groups of people. We have a coffee group. There's the state-of-the-art workout center, and but all these activities that I do, walking by the Swanee River, when I first, can I backtrack a little bit?
You can go wherever you want.
When I first came here, I was walking by the Swanee River, and I love to do that. I mean, I feel so close to the Lord there. And the bells ring here 3 times a day. And it was at a time the bells were ringing, and it was playing. And this was after, it was playing "It Is Well With My Soul." Highlight of my life.
It was time particularly for you that day, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes.
I know that if there's a bus trip somewhere, you sign up to go, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I go everywhere.
What are some of the things you've explored while now living in this area?
Yeah, right. Well, of course, the science. I love science museums. I taught science and math a lot, and to me, science just speaks of the Lord. And butterfly. There's a butterfly museum. We go to movies in Valdosta, plays. There's just so many. There's just so many things I just can't tell you. What goes on here, and it's so wonderful. You celebrate. You're with Christians again. It's Christian fellowship. And enjoying it with each other. So.
Well, for our viewers, some of them may not know about the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch, which is in Live Oak.
Yes.
And I think this is like their 68th year of being a program for young people.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about how you're involved with the Pen Pal program.
Well, it's a program, and these kids are going through. These are young people whom I love, and they are going through a difficult time, and that's what that program is for. And and we write back and forth, and it's amazing what they tell you and what you share and what you can help them with. I think, when I think about it, when I tell and these young people, and I think the most important thing in life, and has been for me, is that God is faithful, and choose to trust, to become a child of God through faith in Jesus Christ. And then my other one is two of my favorite verses, and I would tell that I love to share with my young people. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. And what I have found after 83 years, that you can trust God to lead you to the best possible outcomes. And another thing I'd like to tell them: choose your friends wisely, that are like-minded and that have faith and that will lift you up.
Donna, a successful conversation to me is the person doing all the conversation. That was my last question. What advice would you give a young person today?
Yeah, and that is the advice. God has a purpose and plan. He has the blueprint for our life, and without a shadow of a doubt, I can say that He is faithful, and that it is He will lead you in the best possible direction and the best possible way. Well,
Donna, thank you so much for letting Him lead you here today for this conversation and to the village and all that you do. Thanks so much.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today, and we hope you'll join us another time for another conversation here at Advent Christian Village.